Oh, audio not coming. Oh, sorry. So now able to see? Are you able to hear me now? Now able to hear me? Okay, okay. And now let me repeat. Today we are starting the new chapter, inner classes. Inner classes topic is, it's a very important topic. It's a prerequisite topic for understanding Java 8 new features, Lambda expression. Also, it is essential for learning multi-threading. Also, it is essential for learning collections. And also, it is essential for learning AWT and swing components event handling. Okay. So, inner classes knowledge is essential. If you have inner classes knowledge, it will be easy for you for understanding next chapters. Not only in core Java, also in Spring and Hibernate, inner classes will be used very heavily. Nowadays, slowly, inner classes usage is decreased. In place of inner classes, Lambda expression is using. But to understand Lambda expression, you need some idea about inner classes. Okay. As part of inner classes, we are planning to learn these other topics. As usual, like every chapter, we are learning WH questions here. What is inner class? Why inner class? How inner class? When inner class? Which inner class? Okay, like this, all WH questions we are trying to learn, types of inner classes, and each types of inner class we are developing program. And next, now here I list out some of the important points: definition of inner class, need of inner class, and syntax to define inner class, types of inner classes. After creating inner classes and compile, it's a name change, allowed modifiers for each inner class, types of members allowed in inner class, and next accessing outer class members from inner class. Next, accessing inner class members from outer class and outside outer class. And syntax to differentiate outer class members from inner class members if both have same name. Do you remember variable shadowing? Variable shadowing we discussed, variable hiding we discussed. Like inner class and outer class may contain the same name, then how can we differentiate them? Inner class member, outer class member name can be same, then how can you differentiate? So by end of this chapter, you will identify the correct usage of appropriate situation to use all types of inner classes. So this is our target of learning inner classes chapter. Okay. Inner classes chapter, complete material, notes, everything is available in volume 1B textbook in page number 93. Okay. You can open the volume 1B textbook, page number 93. Or later you can open and read. Okay. Okay. Now let's start programming. So first tell me, what is a inner class? First point, what is an inner class? Tell me, what is an inner class? A class, generally people feel that the definition is like this: a class that is defined inside another class is called inner class. This is not complete definition. What the meaning of a class inside another class? A class, not only class. I told you 6 types of classes. A class or interface or enum or annotation. Abstract class or final class also. A class means we'll get 3 classes: concrete class, abstract class, final class. A class or interface or enum annotation that is defined inside another class or interface or annotation is called inner class. For example, I am creating a class here, example here. In this class example, I am creating class called A. Okay. Now tell me, this is a class. I am creating a interface. I am creating an enum E, and I'm creating an annotation. Annotation, how can I create? At the rate interface. Interface ENN. It is called what? All these are inner classes. Okay, a class or interface or enum or annotation that is defined inside another class or interface or enum or annotation is called inner class. Clear my point? This is the definition of what is inner class. Then let me compile this program. Let me save this program. I want to take Java file name as test01. Okay, compile, program compile successful. Okay, now I'm taking same program with interface. Interface sample. Look at there, compiled successfully. And there's a small problem. Okay, now let me take enum. Enum ABC, let's say. Enum ABC. Inside enum, if you want to create a normal members, you cannot directly write like this, compiler throw error. Okay, you must start with semicolon. First you should write semicolon and then you should write remaining members. Sir, why you should write semicolon? Next week I'll teach you enum, that time you will understand. At this minute, accept it. Now compile successfully. And next I'm creating annotation. How can I create annotation? At the rate interface annotation PQR, let's take PQR, and then class A interface enum annotation. Inside annotation, I'm going to write like this. Are they allowed or not? Allowed. Compile successfully. Understand? So what the definition? What the definition? A class or interface or enum or annotation that is defined inside another class or interface or enum or annotation is called inner class. I created a class with all four members, interface all four members, enum all four members, annotation all four members. Hope you all understand it. First point, what is inner class? Next point. Why inner class? What is the need of inner class? Inner class creating what relation? Do you remember we have two relations? Is A, has A. Now inner class creating what relation? Class example. Inside class example, I am creating class A. Now this class A is inner class. Then tell me, class 2, it's a member is what? What relation it is? Class example to class A. What relation between these two? Is A or has a relation? It is has a relation. Is a relation. Array. Come on, buddy. Is a relation. How can I develop is a relation? Is a relation means inheritance. How can I develop is a relation? Inheritance, extends and implements. A class and its members relation is what? Is a has a? Has a relation, right? Okay, tell me. Now, inner class creating what relation? Inner class is creating has a relation. Has a means contains relation. A class contain other class. Class representing object. Class example representing object. One object represent. Another class also representing object only. Then I can say this is an object that contain inner objects. A object that contain inner object. That inner object represented by inner class. For example, let me take car as an example, best example for your understanding. Car is an object. The car is having inner object. What? Engine. Tell me, if you wanted to define engine, I must not take a regular outer class. You must take what? Inner class. Everyone understand? And now tell me, why inner class? A inner class is used for creating inner object of an outer object. Inner object of an outer object. Okay. Inner class creates what? Inner class creates what relation? Has a relation, objects of an outer object. Inner class creates has a relation objects of an outer object. Then tell me, I want to take one more test case for your understanding. Below, I am trying to write a class called person. I am taking a class called person. Tell me, this class person has his own properties: eyes, ears, hands, legs, nose, name, height, weight. Along with that, if you observe, you have heart. Tell me, heart is having its own values. Heart is having its own properties. Heart is having its own operations. Then tell me, heart is a part of a person. Heart is an object that is a part of a person, and it is having its own functionalities. Then in that case, you must not create heart variables and methods inside class person. You must separate them, encapsulate them from person properties. I must separate and encapsulate heart properties as a group, separating from outer object. And then now what we need to write here, class heart. Are you catching my point? Repeating again, class person is a one object. It is having its own values, its own properties, and its own operations. And class person contain its another object called what? Heart. Heart is also contain its own values, its own operations. Are you catching my point? Now, if you wanted to create heart specific properties and behaviors by separating from outer object person properties and behavior, then what we do, we are going for inner class. Okay, let me take another example for you for better understanding, for visualization purpose. Tell me, this is my shop. Okay, let's say it's a supermarket. It is a supermarket. Let's say in a supermarket, do you observe this is supermarket is a one object, right? Supermarket is a one object. In a supermarket, if you observe, we have shelves na, first shelf, and then here gap is giving another shelf, gap is giving another shelf. Like this they are arranging the shelves here. Then in these shelves again we have racks na, right? Again we have racks here. Again we have racks here, right? And then again we have racks here. Then you people are going inside and started selecting or purchasing whatever you need. If you consider this supermarket as an outer object, then now in this outer object, I have so many inner objects need to arrange. For arranging so many inner objects, I have, these racks. Tell me, this rack is also object. This rack is also object. These racks are also what we call objects. But these racks are, we cannot arrange outside of the supermarket because it's a part of supermarket. And I want to separate the things clearly. I want to separate. For that purpose, what we use now? Inner class. Everyone understand? It's the inner class. And next, now, you can say, you can take one more example. Now, this is my water. Okay, it's a water tub. In a water tub, in childhood, when you are childhood, your mother is preparing a milk for you, and now the milk is very hot. To make it cool, now the milk pouring in the water. Hey, milk pouring in the water. Amma, no. What your mother doing? Your mother pouring milk inside one glass, right? Pouring inside glass. And now this glass, now your mother taking inside this water. Tell me, now using this particular glass, are we able to clearly separate the water? Are we able to clearly separate the water in a tub and the milk in the glass? Na? Come on. Please try to concentrate. Water tub is one object and it has its own things. Okay, its own properties and everything. Nothing but water, everything is there. Okay, and then by using this glass, now we are separating the water and milk clearly. Tell me now, this glass concept is nothing but what? Inner class. So using inner class, we can clearly separate outer object properties and behaviors from inner object properties and behaviors clearly. So this is the purpose of inner class. Is it clear my point? Does everyone understand what is inner class? So what is inner class? A class created inside another class is called inner class. Inner class is used for creating inner object of an outer object. Inner class creates has relation objects of an outer object. For example, if you want to create engine of a car, you must use inner class. If you want to create a heart object of a person, you must create inner object. Okay, you can also take one more example, class, I can say bank account. Every bank account is associated with ATM card. If you want to create it as a separate inner class, you can also write class ATM card. Okay, na? Right, like this, you can create inner classes. Hope you understand what the use of inner class. Inner class is creating what? Has relation objects. Everyone understand? Shall I go to the next point? What is inner class? Why inner class? You understood. And of course, while discussing with what is inner class, why inner class, we also understood how inner class also. Okay, na? Fine. Then I have another question, try to answer. Then what is the difference between inner class and outer class with has a relation wise? Try to answer. What is a inner class? Outer class has a relation wise. Observe now. What is the difference between? Okay, let me write a question here outside. What is the difference between inner class and outer class with has a relation? Okay, tell me now. Has a relation we can generate with the outer class also, na? Then why we need inner class? What is the advantage of inner class? I can say another question. What are the advantages of inner class over over outer class with has a relation? Okay, outer class with has a relation. What are the advantage of inner class over outer class with has a relation? Now let me try to write one small question here. I mean, another question I want to say, when we cannot use, when we must not use, don't say we cannot, when we must not use inner class. So three questions I want to answer in this program. Okay, listen, I'm taking a class called student. Okay, and I'm taking a class called employee. Okay, I'm taking two classes called student and employee. Tell me, both employee and student classes required address. Are you catching my point? Both class student and class employee required what? Address. Then is it recommended to create inner class called address? Address is having its own properties and behaviors. Okay, its own values, its own methods are there. So is it recommended way to create class address like this? No, it's not a good project programming practice, right? It's not a good practice. Then what I need to do? Because why? It's a code redundancy here and here two times. If you write, it's a code redundancy. It's a bad programming practice. If I need to reuse an object in multiple classes, don't create as an inner class, create it as an outer class, and then create its instance variable here. Address equal to, or address semicolon, and address semicolon. It is also has a relation. Student has a address, employee has a address. So now what the question I'm asking, when we must not use inner class? Okay, let me write like this. When we must not use inner class. So if we need to use what you call an object in multiple other objects, we must not use must not use inner class. Instead of, okay, we must use outer class. We must use, or we must create this object. Let's say we must create this object by using an outer class, and must access this must access and reuse, let's say, must access and reuse this outer class by using instance variable. Okay, this way you have to access. Clear my point? When inner class I must use has relation purpose. When you are trying to use has relation, already earlier we have outer class with has relation we already use with instance variable. Then what is the difference between outer class when inner class? Okay, when to use inner class, when to use outer class. If you wanted to use, or the point, final point, if you want to use an inner okay, if you want to use an object only in one class, only in one class, or only in one object, only in one object, then then it is recommended to use, or recommended to create this object by using inner class. Okay na? So when to use inner class, when should not use inner class, I hope I give it, save it. Then now tell me, what the advantage of inner class? What are the advantages of inner class compared to outer class with instance variable? Okay, simple point I'll tell you, try to think. If you create outer class, a separate class, outer class, if you create, in outer class creation, in outer class creation, what to do? We must create separate Java file, must create separate Java file. Means number of Java files are increasing. Okay, problem number one. Problem number two, in outer class creation, the code is not visible because it is placed in other Java file. Yes or no? We have to open that other Java file to read the code. Okay, in outer class creation, the code is not visible here. The code is not visible here. Here means that class in which we are accessing. Okay, because it is placed in other Java file. Okay. The next third dangerous problem, the third biggest problem is, tell me, because the class is available in another Java file, private members of one class can access from another class. Private variables of one class can access from another class? No. In outer class creation, what happened? The code is, okay, the private members of one class cannot be accessed from other class, or we can, private members of one class cannot be accessed from other class. Okay, we need to use, tell me what we need to use. We need to use what you call getter and setter methods. Getter and setter methods. Let me try to ask you a question. Think and tell me. This is a car. Assume that this is a car. Okay, assume that this is a car. Okay, how the car look like here? Okay, something like this. Okay, this is a car. Tell me now. This car have the bonnet here. This bonnet is having here engine. Tell me, if you create engine as a separate class car you write here, open bracket, closed bracket, class engine you write here, open bracket, closed bracket, then tell me, they become two separate objects. They are available, they are outside, separate objects. Then now in order to access, this engine should access the petrol pump of this car. This car should access the electricity of this engine. So there should be wiring, na? There should be a wiring between these two objects. To create that wiring between these objects, I must use setter getter methods. Then they're accessing the objects as their own members, separate object members, separate object members. Then there are two separate classes. Then just you try to think, is it a good programming practice? No. So engine should access directly petrol pump, and car should directly access the power generating by this engine. So that means if you create class car open bracket closed bracket with class engine by contain inside it, now because this engine is a member of this class car, then tell me all members of the all members of the car can be accessible from engine, all members of engine can be accessible from car. So tell me, which style of code you need to develop? Outer class style, inner class style, inner class style you need to develop. Are you catching my point? So this is just very important, very important analyzation you need to get. So if you create outer classes, the private members of one class cannot be accessible from other class. You know, if you need to access the private members of one class to another class, then you have to go for inner class. Let me take again another example, which I am telling now, person. Now I am taking person as an example here. Person as an example here. This is you. Try to feel it. Okay. If you feel, you will understand. If you don't feel, you don't understand. Okay. This is you. Tell me, if I create heart outside and then linking the heart to your body, is it okay? Okay, you will hold your heart by using your hand and going on road. NareshIT? Come on, try to think. If you create a heart outside, using your hand, you will hold this heart and going on road. No, it's not a good idea. Na? Tell me now. What you need to do? You need to create this heart part of this object. So that what happen, if you create a heart part of your body, then now the private properties of your heart can be accessible by your heart, and heart private properties can be accessible by your body. And then now the nervous system will be properly working. Are you feeling my point, right? Don't feel it is corona, okay? It is heart of your body with nervous system, okay? So whenever you need to access private members of one object directly as if they are their own members, you have to create inner class. Okay, if you don't want to access any private members of that, it's completely separate object, two different objects, completely two different functionality objects you are creating. Then use outer class with instance variable. You are creating related objects which is part of other object, then you have to create it as has a relation inner class. Hope you got clarity on this point. Let me show you this. Let me show you this inner class point. Okay. Now tell me class. And I'm creating class called what? Car. Inside car, I'm taking, let's say, let's say something I'm writing. Petrol. Petrol is outer object, na? Class petrol, it should be outer class. And we need to pour here, right? It's not part of this. And then petrol, outer class, petrol. Now this petrol class has a method called, let's say, void consume. Okay. And then now this petrol is a private property of car. Now I'm trying to create class engine outside. First, without inner class, I'm writing, okay. I'm writing class engine. Try to understand class engine outside. Now this car object must be accessible to engine. Then I have to create car. Lot of wiring code I am developing. Car. This is a private variable. And I should define engine constructor, engine of open bracket, closed bracket. And then I have to take parameter car. And here I should write what? This dot car equal to, try to understand how much problem I am facing now. This dot car equal to car, how much code I am writing, wiring code. And then engine have a method called start, open bracket, closed bracket, and then car dot. Now it is a trying to access petrol dot consume. Will it work or not? Is this line working or not working? Will not work. You will get compile time error. Are you catching my point? I need to wire car to engine and engine to car. Okay, I have to create here what? Private engine, open, okay, private engine variable I have to take. So lot of coding I need to write. Number of lines of code is increasing. Please try to feel, sir. You have to feel. If without inner classes problem, you have to feel. Then only you can understand, the advantage of inner class. And now I'm writing here engine. Okay, then what you write here, this dot engine equal to engine. Then car is associated with engine is associated with car. And then now void start method I call. When car dot start called, we have to start what? Engine dot start, na? Engine dot start, right? We are starting car, but car implicitly starting engine. So now I need to access private properties of engine. Okay, I need to access private properties of car in engine. So is it possible or not possible? Here compiler will throw error, observe. Private members of one class you cannot access from another class directly. Look at there, cannot find symbol variable. What throwing error? Variable petrol. Spelling mistake. And look at there, petrol has a private access in car. Now this is a wiring code, lot of wiring code and problem with outer class. Now the same program I am trying to develop with inner class. Look at here how simplified way the code will be. Same code I am developing with inner class car, and then private petrol petrol petrol. Okay, and then I am going to define class engine here directly. You say inner class. Earlier, we are using outer class and instance variable. And now directly I am writing class petrol. Do I need a class instance variable here? Not required. Because now it is a member of the class, it can access directly. Here I need to define directly void start method. Open bracket, closed bracket. Tell me, engine class start method allowed to access outside? No, not allowed. So what we need to declare it as private start. And then to start, it should consume the petrol. Now, can I access private property of car petrol directly here? Yes, petrol dot consume. Look at the code, program compiled or not? Look at there, compile or not? The private member of outer class now allowed to access inner class. And there is no need to write this much heavy wiring code. Private variable constructor, no need to write. Okay. And then inside class void, I'm writing here start, open bracket, closed bracket. I want create this engine class start method I wanted access. Then what I'm writing here, one engine instance I'm creating, engine equal to new engine, and then engine dot start private member of inner class I'm trying to access from outer class. Look at the start method belongs to outer class, and now private member of inner class I'm trying to access outer class. Look at there, any compile time error? No compile time error. Then try to observe now what are the problems with outer class. If you are planning to create always outer class, then the problem is in outer class creation we will face below problem. Problem number one, we must create separate Java file. We must create separate Java file so that the code is not we must maintain multiple Java files increased. Number one, in outer class creation, the code is not visible. Look at there. When I write car engine, what is the logic of engine? I have to go to engine class and search. Okay, whereas inner class, okay, engine is everything is visible here. And next, in outer class creation, the private members of one class cannot be accessed from another class. We need to use getter and setter methods and a lot of constructor wise wiring code we need to develop. To avoid all these problems, it is recommended to develop inner class. Okay, can I hope all the people got clarity on inner class? To avoid or to solve above problems, we must develop or we must use inner class. Prabhuji, can you please confirm once? All you people understand or not? Okay. So this is the basic concept about what is inner class, why inner class. Okay. Right. We completed definition of inner class and the need of inner class. Syntax to define inner class, just you going through the program. That's it. So these three topics are clearly understood. Okay. And advantage of inner class. Now, tell me, if I develop inner class concept, more encapsulation related to inner objects is increased in a clear separation, and encapsulation is increased, and readability is increased, and private members accessing is increased, number of lines of code decreased. Okay, these are all the advantages with the inner class. Tell me, is inner class reusable? Is inner class, the inner class created inside one class, can we use in another class? No. If you want to reuse inner class, you must go for outer classes. Okay, fine. So now I'm moving to the next topic, types of inner classes. Are you ready? Types of inner class, basic idea in inner classes completed. Okay, I'm going for types of inner classes. Tell me, how many types of inner classes Java supports? How many types of inner classes Java supports? Are yaar, like variables, types of inner classes. You know variables? Types of variables, you know, na? Like types of variables, we have types of inner classes. Java supports 4 types of inner classes. What are the 4 types of inner classes? Number 1. Okay, first I will give my own words. Okay, for our understanding, easy understanding purpose, first I will give you my own words, and then I will give you, Sun Microsystem given words. Okay, Java supports 4 types of inner classes. Number 1, static inner class. Number 2, non-static inner class. Number 3, local inner class. Again, I'm repeating these terminologies, my terminology. And number 4, anonymous inner class. Okay, these two are Sun Microsystem terminology and my terminology same. Local inner class, anonymous inner class. Here, little confusion there. Okay, now this is Java supports 4 inner classes. The alias names are here. What you know? This static inner class officially called nested inner class. Nested class, sorry. This is nested class. Non-static inner class is just called inner class or member inner class or member class. Nested class, inner class or member class. Okay, and local inner class is called just local inner class. And anonymous inner class is called same anonymous inner class. Anonymous class, not inner class. Just the people call it as anonymous class. Anonymous class, not anonymous inner class. Okay, so small difference, nested class and inner class or member class. So nested class is nothing but static class. Okay, let me show you Sun Microsystem tutorial. Open browser. Open browser. Okay, people who are watching from YouTube live. Okay, there are so many people are coming just for just for entertainment purpose. Okay, they will come there and leave some comments, whatever they like. Okay, they will leave. Okay, don't worry. Yesterday morning 7 o'clock, early morning 7 o'clock, one student came to YouTube live and he's scolding, saying that all these are programming languages are tumri languages, stupid languages. Yeah, actually, early morning 7 o'clock, why he did wake up, I don't know. Why he is roaming on YouTube and searching for the people who are live, and why he is leaving comments. People are, become that much mad. Many times I used to tell. Okay, many times I used to tell. People become nowadays. That's become crazy. Okay, they don't sleep. Happily, they don't sleep. They don't be happy. Always they wanted to go around the YouTube or Facebook or everywhere. Wherever they can leave the bad comments, they will leave, and happily they will eat full food and sleep. So we will leave them for their fate. We cannot do anything. We cannot change. Okay, in society, that type of people also very much important. Otherwise, police people will not have any work now, right? So don't worry. Now, in our current live YouTube also, there are so many people are there. They are leaving their own wonderful comments, whatever they like. Let them leave. Okay, don't worry. We know the power of our subject, right? We know the power of our subject. So there are so many people will come. Just you ignore them and try to understand subject what I'm telling. And then mm, now try to understand. Here I'm trying to give the question that is, let's say, uh, what do you call, inner classes. Okay, Java tutorial plus Oracle. Type Java tutorial plus Oracle. Then you will come to this page, open it. Okay, and here go to learning Java language or essential Java classes. What you are learning now? Currently inner classes classes are part of language. It's part of language. Inner classes are part of language. Let's see. Now, look at the object-oriented programming, language basics, classes and objects, annotations, interface and inheritance, numbers and strings, generics, packages. Inner classes belongs to classes. Click on classes and objects. Then if you go down classes, objects, more classes, questions, and nested classes. Look at there. Sun Microsystem don't call this chapter as inner classes. Sun Microsystem call this chapter as what? Nested classes. We are calling as inner classes, but they call it as nested classes. Click on this nested classes. Now this is the link I am sharing to you. You can follow. Okay, now, right. Already I given everything, the material is sufficient, but if you want to follow, follow. Now look at the nested classes. The Java programming language allows us to define a class within another class. Such a class is called as nested class, as illustrated here. Outer class, nested class. Sun Microsystem not calling it as inner class. They're calling it as nested class. Some interviewers used to ask the question, what is inner class? Okay, they don't call it as inner class. They call it as nested class. So nested class is nothing but inner class. A class that is created inside another class is called nested class. Terminology. Nested classes are divided into two categories. What are the two categories? Static and non-static. Look at that. My terminology is also correct now. Okay, my terminology is also correct. What I told, static inner class, non-static inner class. Okay, static and non-static is also valid terminology. And then now nested classes are divided into two categories, static and non-static. Nested classes that are declared static are called static nested classes. Non-static nested classes are called simply inner classes. Is it clear my point? So this is called static nested class. Static inner class is all called static nested class. Actually, this is Sun Microsystem terminology. I want to say this is Sun terminology. Sun terminology. Okay, Sun terminology. And now this is our terminology, regular terminology. This is Sun terminology. So static nested class and non-static nested classes are called what? Just inner class. Is it clear my point? Then look at there. This is static nested class. This is inner class. Now next, a nested class is a member of its enclosing class. Non-static nested class, inner class is a member of enclosing class or enclosing instance. Come on, guess. A nested class is a member of its enclosing class, but non-static nested class, nothing but inner class is member of instance. Non-static members are part of instance, right? Have access to other members and enclosing class, even they are declared as a private. Static nested class don't have access to other members. I will tell you the reason and everything. Okay, a member of the outer class, a nested class can be declared private, public, protected, package, private. Okay, I will tell you all these things. At this minute, I want you to understand this terminology. Okay, actually speaking, here we should not use inner class. As per Sun Micro system, we must call static nested class. Okay, non-static nested class, non-static nested class, like this we have to use. But no one is using a word called nested class. Everybody using the word inner class. So that's why I'm also introducing inner class word only. And then go down some more paragraphs. Why you use nested classes? Compelling reasons for using nested class, including the following. It is a way of logically grouping classes that are only used in one place. Are you catching my point? For example, you take heart, digestive system, lungs, kidneys. Okay, all these are used only as a one group. In a person, in a class called person, all these are used at one place. It is a way of logically grouping classes that are only used in one place. Next, it increases encapsulation, right? And next, it leads to more readable and maintainable code, because if there is no separation, multiple Java files are not there, and logic is available in one place, it can be more readable and maintainable. The same words I have explained the earlier. Next, starting with started nested classes. I will discuss these points. I'm not going in depth. Inner classes, and then now shadowing all will come later. I'll talk all these things. Serialization. Go to next page. These are more depth. Okay, I'm going next page. Inner class example. Now look at that. Another two types of classes are what? Local and anonymous classes. Okay, Namuji? So local and anonymous class. There are two additional types of inner classes. You can declare an inner class within the body of a method. Within the body of method. These classes are known as local classes. Next, you can also declare a inner class within the body of method without naming the class. Without naming the class. These classes are known as anonymous classes. So now here I came to the tutorial only to confirm that. I came to tutorial only for confirming that there are four types of inner classes: static inner class, non-static inner class, local inner class, anonymous inner class. Static inner class is also called static nested class. Non-static inner class or non-static nested class is just called what? Inner class. Okay, and the local inner class is called local class. Is we are calling local inner class, but some calling as local class. Anonymous class, anonymous class. So now I want to create all these classes, and I want to work with compiler. Look at here, I'm creating class called example buddy. Then tell me, main method main method I'm not taking, right? Inside this class I'm creating static with the keyword static int a, static class a. Tell me now, this class is what class? This is static inner class. And next, I'm creating class B. Now I'm writing just to open bracket, closure bracket. And this is called what? Non-static inner class. Now I am defining one method, either static method or non-static method, your wish. Inside this M1 method, I'm creating a class called C. A class called C. Now this class is called what? This class is called what? Local class or local inner class. Static inner class. This is called static inner class. This is called non-static inner class, and this is called local class or local inner class. Up to now understand? Up to now understand? Everyone got clarity? Now, I want to create anonymous inner class. It's a little confusion. Are you ready? Anonymous inner class is little confusion. What is anonymous inner class? A class that is created inside a method without naming the class. You can also declare an inner class within the body of a method. You can also declare an inner class within the body of a method without naming the class. Hey, without naming class and what? Now this is the class. Listen, this is the class. So class name not required. When a class name is not required, class keyword also not required. Hey, if you remove class keyword and class name, then it become class local block. It become local block, no? Then how can I say it is an anonymous inner class? How can I say it is an anonymous inner class? Listen, anonymous inner class is not like regular inner classes. These are the individual classes. Class A, just individual class. Class B, just individual class. Class C, just individual class. These are just defining inner objects. Okay. If you want to define one inner object for outer class, then use static and non-static inner classes. If you want to create an inner object for a method, one operation inner object required, then I required what? Now class inner class. But come to here, anonymous inner class. Anonymous inner class is not meant for representing inner object. Anonymous inner class is meant for providing implementation to an is used for extending or implementing, is used for extending a class or implementing an interface. It is not meant for creating inner object of an outer object. Listen carefully. Static inner class is meant for creating inner object of an outer object. I will give you notes part once again, okay? Just I'm quickly writing the statements. Non-static inner class is meant for creating inner object of an outer object. That's why we are creating them inside a class. But come to the local inner class, it is not meant for creating inner object for outer object. It is meant for creating inner object for operation. Okay. Now it is meant for creating inner object of an operation. For one operation to perform, I need one inner object. That inner object related class you create inside a method. For example, now you take a digestive system. This digestive system is a inner class. Inside that inner class, digest is an operation. Inside the operation, now I need one more object for releasing acids to digest your body. I mean, digest your food. Right, releasing acids and performing operation, I need one more inner object. That inner object you created by using what? Local class. But come to the anonymous inner class, it is not meant for representing any inner object of outer object. It is meant for extending a class or implementing an interface. That means anonymous inner class is a subclass. Anonymous inner class is meant for creating subtype of an object. Okay, anonymous is meant for creating a subtype of a class, or an interface. If you understand this point, then writing code will become easy, sir, for you. Are you ready? Did you get clarity on this point? Did you get clarity on anonymous inner class? Anonymous inner class is meant for creating a subtype of a class or an interface, for extending a class or implementing an interface. Okay, now the question try to answer. If you want to say it is an subclass of a one outer class, I must use that outer class name. Na? For example, I am creating one class here, let's say, one outer class I'm creating, let's say, here I'm writing some class name called sample here, okay? I'm creating one class name called sample. I want to create subclass of the sample class, then I can use anonymous inner class. That subclass name I should write, sample. Okay, na? But you cannot just write sample. If I write just like sample parenthesis, if you write sample parenthesis, if you write, then it will become what? Constructor, na? It become constructor. How can I write a constructor? Not possible. Before sample, you should also write a new keyword. New following by outer class name, parenthesis, following by open bracket, closed bracket. Then this is called what? Anonymous inner class. If you see a statement, if you see a statement starts with a new keyword, following by a class name or interface name, following by parenthesis, open bracket, closed bracket, ends with semicolon, semicolon mandatory. In remaining places, in remaining inner classes, ends with semicolon is optional, because they are declarations, but it is not a declaration, it is an expression. Look at the new keyword started, na? It's an object creation. It's a new keyword. So new keyword started is nothing but expression. So must be ends with what? Semicolon. So anonymous inner class creation is little bit tough. 1 or 2 times if you try, then you will understand easily. Okay. Now tell me, I am giving you one more class called, let's say ABC class I am giving. Can you create ABC class? For this ABC class, anonymous inner class, come on, help me how to write now. New keyword following by which class? For which class you want to write anonymous inner class? ABC, parenthesis, listen. Semicolon if you write here, then it is an anonymous inner class, ABC class object. It is not anonymous inner class, right? It is ABC class object. Control 1. First I have to save this program. Test 05. Control 1 compile. It is not object, okay, sorry, it is not anonymous inner class. It is object of ABC class. If you want to say anonymous inner class, you must write open bracket, close it bracket. Chitty, got clarity? Yeah? Now this is anonymous inner class. In advanced Java, Spring, Hibernate, everywhere, every time this anonymous inner class syntax will be used, that time you should not confuse. Now, I am giving you one interface here. Okay, I'm giving one interface I1 I have given. Okay, now tell me, for this interface, can you develop anonymous inner class? Yes. How can I write? New I1 parenthesis semicolon. Bolo, is it anonymous inner class or it is an object of interface I1? It is object, it's a instantiation of interface I1, object creation of interface I1. Then compiler software will throw an error here. Compiler software will throw an error here. What the compiler throwing error? In I1 is interface abstract, cannot be instantiated. I1 is abstract, cannot be instantiated. I want to tell to compiler, oh compiler, sorry compiler, I don't want to create, I don't want to instantiate interface. I want to develop anonymous inner class for this interface. Then you have to add what? Open bracket, close it bracket. Control 1 compile successfully, Control 2 executed, we'll see later. Okay, this is anonymous inner class for interface. This is anonymous inner class for ABC class. This is anonymous inner class for sample class. So anonymous inner class is meant for extending a class or implementing an interface. It is meant for creating subtype of a class or an interface. Is it clear my point? What the syntax of anonymous inner class? Starts with a new keyword, following by class name or interface name, following by parenthesis, and then following by flower bracket. Okay, na? So this is the way you need to create all the stories. So currently I am deleting all these things and we will discuss anonymous inner class very deeply later. So at this minute, I don't want to use any of my own outer class. Can I use a predefined class? There is a predefined class called thread. There is a one predefined class called thread. I am using predefined class called thread here for creating anonymous inner class. Is it allowed or not? Allowed. Control 1, compile successfully. Hello. Did you get clarity? Did you get clarity on all 4 inner classes and their purpose? If you confirm, I'll go to the next point. What are the points we have completed? Definition of inner class. What is the inner class? Inner class is a class that is created inside another class or interface or enum is called inner class. What is the need of inner class? Inner class is used for creating inner object of an outer object. What is the syntax of inner class? Inner class syntax is just regular class creation. Create a class inside another class, that is inner class. How many types of inner classes we can create? 4 types of inner classes we can create. What are they? Static inner class, non-static inner class, local inner class, anonymous inner class. Then what the purpose of each inner class? Anonymous inner class, static inner class is used for creating inner object of an outer object. Next, what is the use of non-static inner class? Non-static inner class is also meant for creating inner object of an outer object. But what is the difference between static inner class and non-static inner class? Can you show your talent? Bring your variables chapter knowledge and tell me. If you declare a class as a static, variable as a static, method as a static, without outer class, without enclosing class, instance, can I access it? Yes. I want to create inner class of an outer object and want to instantiate it without outer class instance. Then we should create as what? Static inner class. Okay, when to create static inner class? I wanted to create static inner class is meant for creating inner object of an outer object and wanted to instantiate it without using outer class instance, outer class object, outer class instance or outer class object. Then we should go for static inner class. And now can you please tell me when you go for non-static inner class? Non-static inner class is also meant for creating inner object of an outer object, but and want to instantiate it with outer with by using outer class object, by using outer class object. Okay, so without using outer class object, I don't want to exist. Tell me now, heart must be static inner class or non-static inner class? Engine must be static inner class or non-static inner class? Come on. Heart and engine must be static inner class. Okay, static inner class you cannot use. Engine, here we develop previous examples we develop. Tell me, this engine class cannot be a static inner class because engine must exist only with car instance. If a car is not there, engine is waste. No? Next, you take here example. Where is that? Yeah, without person, what the use of heart? Okay, now heart will function only for person. So one person instance required to start heart. One bank account instance is required for ATM card, right? One car instance is required for engine. Then tell me, from the day beginning, I am telling, static members are not the main programming elements. They are just helpers. Non-static members are the main programming elements. In the project, most of the time, we will create what type of inner classes? Non-static inner classes only we will create. Okay, na? And then next, local inner class is meant for creating inner object of an operation. And anonymous inner class is meant for meant for creating subtype of a class. Let me take this as a first statement and this as second statement. Anonymous inner class is meant for creating a subtype of a class or interface. It is meant for extending a class or implementing an interface. So this is the basic idea about all types of inner classes. Hope you understand now. If interviewer asks a question, can you show your talent? Can you answer all questions thoroughly without any hesitation, like any confusions? So you need to prepare your own notes too. I prepared the notes. You should also prepare your own notes too. Then only will remember all these things. Okay. Then now let me move to the next topic. Tell me, when I create inner class, I'm creating a class called example. Now inside this class example, I'm creating a class called A. Array, whenever you create a class, when you compile it, compulsory dot class file must be created. Na? Come on. Compulsory dot class file is created. Na? When you create a class, compulsory dot class file must be created. Okay, for outer class, dot class file created. Then for inner class also separated dot class file created or not created. Now I'm trying to move to the next topic. What is that? Inner class name change after compilation. Okay, inner class name change after compilation. Tell me now, if you create an inner class inside one class, below, do you have one dot class file or separate dot class file? For each class will get separate class. For outer class one dot class file. For inner class one dot class file will come. Let us try to go and check. Compile it. Control-1. Compile. When you compile, now background, if you verify in the folder, where is your folder? Folder, 11 a.m. inner classes. Oh, how many dot class files came about? Now look at that. Test06 is the Java file name. Open command prompt for your understanding. Here I have compiled from here. Java C, test06.java. Look at there, how many dot class files are created? two dot class files created. Example dot class, example dollar a dot class. So tell me, as many inner classes you create, those many separate dot class files are created. And very important point you must notice here. Very important point you must notice here. In a source code, inner class is part of your Java file. If you develop inner class, number of Java files are decreased, accepted. But number of dot class files are decreased? No. As many classes you create, those many separate dot class files are created. Remember it. When you are delivering this project to the customer, only outer class dot class file if you give, program executed or not executed? Not executed. You will get errors. Exceptions you will get. Both outer class dot class file, inner class dot class file, both you must give. Okay? And then let me try to understand how the dot class files are generated for static inner class and non-static inner class. Class A, class B. Save it. Then go to command prompt. First you delete all the dot class files. Clear screen. Delete star dot class. All dot class files are deleted. Java C, test06, test06.java. And then look at there. How many dot class files are created? 3. Outer class example dot class, and static inner class example $a, non-static inner class example $b. Okay. Now listen my question and answer. Is there any difference in dot class file name from static inner class to non-static inner class? No. Both are same name. Outer class dollar, inner class. Outer class dollar, inner class. Okay, nice. Now I'm going for method local inner class. Void m1, open bracket, close it bracket. Here I am writing class C. Okay, class C I have created. Then tell me, save it. Now come back to here, clear screen. Now go to command prompt, keep that folder backside, okay, so that you can easily understand. When I compile this program, tell me, one more dot class file created for class C, na? One more dot class file is created for class C. Can you tell me what is the dot class file name for this class C? Example $C. Come on, try to answer. Example $C, na? Come on, example $C, na? No, you will get something like this. If you write example $, it become outer class of inner class, na? It's a class level inner class, right? It become top level class. So the name will be something like this. Example $, what Buji? 1C. Okay, if you see dollar after 1, then you should understand, oh, this is a local inner class, not the class level inner class. It's a method level inner class, local inner class. Okay. Okay, fine. Next, I want to create anonymous inner class. Tell me the syntax for anonymous inner class. Starts with a new, one outer class thread. I'm taking predefined class thread, parenthesis, open bracket, closure bracket, semicolon mandatory. Save it, go to command prompt and tell me, for this anonymous inner class also, anonymous inner class doesn't have explicit name. You cannot create the name, you will not provide the name, because it is just a inner explicit subclass. Okay, because it's a subclass, explicit name is not there. But compiler software should generate separated dot class file. When generating separate dot class file, compulsory name should be provided, na? Bolo. Here name is provided or not? Let's see. Java. Okay, compile it. When you compile, anonymous inner class also will have separated dot class file with what name? Check. Example $1. Are catching my point? Example $1 dot class is the what you call anonymous inner class name. Okay, 1C is the method local inner class. 1 is what? Anonymous inner class. Did you see the difference? Now immediately you should get a question now, sir. You are writing compiler generating one here. That means it is a sequence number. If I create one more inner class, will come 2, na? If I create one more anonymous inner class, will get to 2, na? Let me try to see that. Now I'm trying to create one more inner class here called D. Okay, na? D I'm creating class D. Then what the name of this class D? Come on, guess. What the name of this class D? What the name of class D? Will it be 2D or 1D? What the name of the class D? 2D or 1D? Come on, boss. Is it a 2D or 1D? Java C test01, it will be 1D only, not 2D. Look at there, 1D. Oh no, then when 2 will come? If the class name is repeated. Can I repeat the class name in the same Java, same method? Can I write class C again? No. Compiler throw error, duplicate class. Class C already defined in method M1. Then where you define in another method. I am taking another method called M2, open bracket, open bracket, closed bracket. Here I am writing class C. Okay, with the same name, class is repeated. Now compiler software will use array. Now compiler software will use 2D, 2C. You get that 2C will come, 2C. Example $2C. Then if you repeat class D one more time in M2 method, then you will get Java C test 0 to 2D. 2D. Next question. Can I repeat anonymous inner class here? In the same method, can I repeat anonymous inner class? Array, come on, you are thinking wrong way. You are not using brain. Chichi, you are using your brain. Don't use your brain, answer will come. Array, what is the name of this class, Ravi? Can I create multiple objects from one class in a single method? New example, new example, new example, new example. It is a new anonymous inner class. It is a new anonymous inner class. These are two separate anonymous inner classes because there is no name. It is an expression. It's creating separate anonymous inner class, new anonymous inner class. So can I repeat anonymous inner class in the same method with the same class? Yes. No compile time error. Compile successfully. Then look at there, 2D will come. 2. Look at there. Example $1, example $2. Either you can repeat anonymous inner class either in the same class or in another class. Okay, I mean same method or another method. Here again I'm repeating. Then tell me what the name will be generated here. 3, example $3. Compile, go to folder. Look at there, example $3 generated. Hope you all got clarity. Compiler acting, compiler working functionality. Compiler working functionality. All you people got clarity, yeah? So this is a very, very important story about inner classes basics. Up to here, this is the most important basics of anonymous inner class. Definition, need of inner class, syntax to define inner class, types of inner classes and their purpose, inner class name change after compilation. Tell me, what is the static inner class name? Is it just A? No. Outer class name dot A, example dot A, compiler point of example $A. What is the non-static inner class name? Outer class name dot inner class name, compiler point of view example $, outer class name $, inner class name. Next, what is the inner method local inner class name for compiler? Outer class name $, angular bracket n. N stands for a number, index number, n following by inner local class name. What is the anonymous inner class name for compiler? Outer class name example $1. Okay, what is the difference between anonymous inner class and other classes? Other classes are meant for declaring one new object as inner object to outer class, new object for operation. But anonymous inner class is not meant for creating new object. It is meant for creating subtype of an existing object, either for extending the class or implementing interface. So these points you need to remember. Hope you will remember it. And all these points I have clearly mentioned in the material in the next lines of the code. I mean, the next lines of the page. I have given entry questions. I will revise entry questions at last. Definition. From which version inner classes available? Inner classes available from Java 1.1 version onwards. Need of inner classes and types of inner classes. Nested class, inner class, method local inner class, something I given. And then how to create them example. After compilation, what is coming? The naming convention. Inner class dot class file name. Now for static and non-static inner class, outer class $, inner class. For method local inner class, outer class $, angular bracket n, inner class dot class, where n is the index number starts with 1, increased by 1, only if the class is repeated in another method. For anonymous inner class, outer class $n, okay, then n. Next. Now here I given multiple classes. You need to identify what is the name of the inner classes. I given examples also. So this is up to now. These are the very basics of anonymous inner, what do you call inner classes concept. Hope you all understand. Yeah. So today this much knowledge is sufficient, and tomorrow we'll start understanding remaining points. Okay, these points I need to explain it with every class. Static inner class, non-static inner class, and next again what? Local inner class, and again what? Anonymous inner class. So totally these points will come for 4 times. Repeatedly 4 times will come. So tomorrow we'll try to understand static, non-static inner classes. Are you catching my point? Fine. So today I'm stopping session here and we will continue tomorrow. Okay. And reflection API, I will teach reflection API. I will teach as, a workshop again. After inner classes, I'll continue reflection API because other students also asking for reflection API. Let me take reflection API after inner classes. Is it clear? First, let us complete inner class and all you people practice and come tomorrow. Today, I'm stopping session here. After inner classes completed, I'll continue reflection API. And after reflection API completed, we will use reflection API in the project development and we'll wind up. And then we'll move to, enum annotation and then what? Java 8 features, collections, exceptionally remaining stories will continue. So tomorrow we don't have holiday, even though it is a January 1st, okay? Tomorrow as usual working day. And advanced happy new year, enjoy day, and don't drink too much up to the vomiting level. So just you have enjoyment, enjoy it, okay? Don't take too much drink, okay? Beer, don't go for bets to anybody, okay? I will lift beer and I will not stop. Don't do like that, okay? Don't trouble your health. Understand? Thank you. Tomorrow class is very important. Don't miss tomorrow class. Tomorrow class is very, very important. Don't miss tomorrow class. Thank you. That's all for the day. See you all tomorrow. Advance happy new year.